so glad. Salt and pepper. Where's the food?
Yeah. You're working on it. Who was your inspiration for Edge of Tomorrow, if any?
Well, the inspiration always comes from the film and from the director. Different directors have different ways of communicating what they're after, but the inspiration really comes from watching the film, talking to the director about the characters, and really just thinking about what that might mean musically. And also deadline television with inspiration. I mean, I'm a pretty horrible procrastinator, so I pretty much wait to work until I can't possibly wait anymore, and then, there isn't really time not to be inspired. So.
You talked about in the panel a little bit about Tom Cruise getting a little bit involved in this. Can you go into that a little bit more about how it is to deal with both the director and actor and all these other forces coming in and then meeting your deadline at the same time?
Well, there's nothing particularly unique about that. Every film is extremely collaborative, and that's code word for lots of people who have opinions, and many of those people, their opinions matter. And as a composer, you're hired by the director, but there's a whole team of people alongside the director, producers, executives at the studio, music supervisors, editors who have a say and who offer their opinion, come over to my studio and listen to music cues along with the director. So really, I mean, besides the fact that he's Tom Cruise and he's one of the world's biggest movie stars, it's no different from director showing up saying, "Oh, by the way, I brought my editor today." She's going to give her thoughts occasionally as well. And then the challenge is the same too, because no two people have this exact same experience listening to the same piece of music. They're all going to react a little bit differently. Also, no two people have exactly the same taste in music or movies or how music should function in a movie. And so that's a challenge of a composer for hire, or really for any artist working in a commercial venture, how to please more than one client. The ideal situation is, of course, just me and one person would be normally the director, but that never really happens. Every once in a while, a director will come in with enough power, clout, and vision to be able to be the only one really that I deal with. But most of the time, it's at least 2 or 3 people. And I think, besides the fact that it was kind of surreal sitting in a room having Tom Cruise give his opinion on my music. I was texting my wife, "Oh my God, Tom Cruise has told me I have to rewrite this cue." That's amazing. But other than that, it's really pretty much the same situation on everything, the same challenge.
I'm curious, why did he tell you had to rewrite that cue?
Oh, I had to rewrite a lot of cues many times. Many times. For all kinds of reasons. I think I probably wrote enough music that was not used in Edge of Tomorrow to score the next 3 sequels.
Wow.
Should there be any, which there probably won't.
What begs the question? I'm sorry.
Oh, no. I was just going to ask a follow-up to that, a tangent off that is, can you talk about any instances where the Frozen directors may have had an issue, and they gave specific notes, because your score is so magical for the film, and it really, it pluses the movie. Was there any instances where they told you to go in a different direction than you were going?
Yeah, actually. There was... Frozen was an especially smooth process, and part of that is that I had a lot of time, and the other part of that is the culture at Disney is very filmmaker-centric. It's run by a filmmaker, and that trickles down culturally, and it's a culture that's extremely respectful and appreciative of composers and music. So it was incredibly smooth. Compared to Edge of Tomorrow, which was a big studio live-action production with a lot of people involved with different agendas. But that said, in any creative collaboration, there's always going to be some push and pull. There's one particular scene after. I think it's the first scene after Let It Go when Anna decides she's going to go after her sister. No, it's right before Let It Go.
Okay.
and she's out in the court, and she goes, "Bring me my horse. I'm going to go after her." And I had written something that was really that emphasized more the tough situation that they're in. Her sister ran away. This is unexpected. These powers came out of nowhere. There's a lot of turmoil and chaos, so it's kind of dark. And the directors, or two co-directors on that film, had asked me to rethink it, think of it more in terms of honest perspective. Like, she's a sister going to help her sister, and it's a little more. It's not lighthearted necessarily, but it's more about determination and family bond than it is about something bad that happened. And I think the music that I wrote was really sort of saying, "Oh my God, something bad happened. What are we going to do?" And the music that I threw that away completely and rewrote it. And it's more music that says, I'm going to go help this person that I love.
Do you think we'll ever hear the B-sides of Unused Cues someday?
Who will? I will. No, I don't think so.
Deluxe box set of
If you ever find yourself in my studio, you can ask.
Okay, thank you.
I'm curious. Robert Wise once, actually on an interview, he said it was Joy Goldsmith, who was in Star Trek the Motion Picture, and he had said, "It sounds good, but there's one problem. It doesn't have a theme." How did you come to develop the theme for Edge of Tomorrow?
Well, that's actually a great question, because that was something that we all struggled with throughout the months I was on production. And the main struggle comes from the fact that Doug Liman is extremely he's extremely insistent on the work being as unconventional as possible. And if anything I wrote to him sounded like movie music, then he would say, "No, it kind of sounds too much like movie music. It sounds too much like a big melody. I don't want that. I want something cooler and more interesting and more unique sounding." So it was a real struggle to find places to put in some of those traditional long line melodies that you would normally do as a composer. So the challenge was, could I come up with, what is a theme really? It's a musical device that can remind an audience of certain recurring themes in a story. That doesn't have to be a big melody. That's one of the easiest and most tried and true ways.
I'm sorry, Christophe. We have Blake here.
Okay, no problem. But it can also be a smaller idea, more of a motif or more of a catchy riff to speak in more pop rock parlance. It doesn't have to be this sort of big. That's a good question. Thank you so much.
Get your act together. My life's a movie. I leave you in that act forever.
My life's like a movie. My life's like a movie. My life's like a movie.